Corey Ian Cusick, star of Lost, The 100, MacGyver. Your resume is incredible, bruh. Like, you have been on everything. It seems like you worked with everybody. But before we get into all of that, wait a minute. You in Hawaii right now, right?
I just got back.
How you doing? What island are you on again?
I'm on Oahu.
Oahu. Oh, okay.
Well, Maui was the island that got hit by the fires. Pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, everyone's seen that. What the Hainan got wiped out. But Oahu, I'm on the east side, so that's the rainy side. West side is always the dry side. It's like a desert, you know. So the west side will always be. So the rain dumps. Little geography lesson for you. The clouds come and they dump on the east side before they go over the Pali, over the mountain ranges. So the west side gets no water. So that's why the west side is always drier.
Man, I love Oahu. That's where I went on vacation, and it was incredible. I miss you, Ian. I really do.
So you know, I love working with you. I miss your humor, your comedy, your outrageousness. I miss you know what I used to love? I used to love getting to set before you and then watching you arrive on set with the new director, and they'd be like, holy shit. Just watch their faces. That was the highlight. It was like, watch what Justin turns up.
Yeah, because anyone that don't know that's listening, when it comes to TV shows, like every episode, you usually have a different director. They like switch them in and out. So we have a different director every episode. And that's actually a question I was gonna ask you. What do you do when a director gives you a note that you don't agree with?
Oh, okay. This is interesting because when I was younger, I would fight it. And I became undirectable. You know, I was actually and I realized that when I saw somebody else. You know what really helped was when I directed. And I thought, you know, when you direct, you go, Jesus, no one's fucking listening to a word I'm saying. They're doing what is it, opposite day? I mean, you know, I was like, and then I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna try it. And there must be something in it that works because he or she sees something, so give it a shot. But for a long time, I was, you know, I wasn't proud of myself. But looking back, that I was pretty undirectable. But now I'll just say, okay, whatever you think, and you know.
Yeah,
and then go.
Oh, I'm listening.
And then, of course, go back to doing what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. I think when it got to MacGyver, by the time we got to season 4 and 5, you know, if they said something that I was just like, listen, man, I'm like, I got it. I've been here. I got it. I know you're coming in with your new ideas and you think you're gonna reinvent everything. But
yeah.
But I still would take notes though. I think I still take notes and then see what works. Unless they just say something crazy.
Having said that, I do remember arguing with somebody on MacGyver about something, and I wouldn't let it go. And it created a really bad atmosphere between me and that director. It lasted the whole 7 days, you know. And I would come on set like, oh, what are they going to say now, you know. And so that did not serve me well. But I know what you mean. Like after a while, you kind of go, I know what I'm doing. And it's certainly you played that character and you had it down pat. You knew exactly, you know, like. So, I mean, but people kind of left you alone. I thought. In fact, it was Straighten. I remember David Straighten, one of our EP directors, who would say, just let him do what he's doing and then we'll keep the camera rolling. And I used to love that. When I first met you and you started improvising, I was like, improvising in network TV? What?
Well, you know, it's so funny. So we kind of really shaped that show early on. So they always told me that I could improvise. They didn't tell Lucas and George in the beginning that they could improvise. But they started to improvise and they were seeing in the edits how great it was, the fact that we had that freedom to play around. So then they just let us go. So by the time you came on board, you know, I was like, whatever, man. I'm just throwing out whatever shit. And then our chemistry together was so great, man. I used to love doing our scenes together, man, because we would have so much fun in those scenes, improvising and just playing around in the scenes.
It was so refreshing because when you first did it, I think it was my first episode. And I was like, okay, because network TV, you don't do that. I was coming from shows like Lost, where you stick to every single word, and it was just like, oh man, this is great. And the more you did it, I loved it. And then I could just like throw back a one-liner. I mean, obviously, you're very, you're very witty and very funny, so you would set stuff up. But remember stuff we set up, like the shirt stuff. You remember that?
Oh
All
yeah.
that. I mean, I felt like we had added so much to so many scenes. Just like chatting.
I definitely feel like the improvisation like helped elevate the scenes and just made it just like a more fun show. Because every show, I mean, come on, all them shows are somewhat the same. It's like, there's a bad guy, we got to find the bad guy and solve whatever. And that's like kind of all those type of shows. But I felt like that was the unique thing that we had, was like we brought fun and humor to these missions that we would have every week. And I think that's what made it kind of like stand out and be number one in this time slot until we got canceled. So, Ed.
Yeah, no, I just want to say to that, I think the audience could see that we were having fun. When you go to theater and when the actors are having fun, you're having fun. If they're not having fun, if they're nervous or scared, you're like, oh. But we had I mean, I have to say, MacGyver was the most fun I've ever had on a show.
Wow.
And I say that often. And yet, even though we had fun and we messed around, still everybody was like Lucas with his dialogue. Everyone was super professional. Nobody phoned it in. They all tried. We all had egos, and we were all doing our best that we could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought, but there was I miss it because it was so fun. It was a silly show, but was it fun?
It
You know what I
was,
mean?
man. We had good times on that show. So I want to go to the beginning, man. Where were you born, and what's your background? Because I think it's very unique and need to be talked about.
So I was born in Peru, in Trujillo, and my mother's Peruvian, my father's Scottish. And then I lived there for a couple of years. And then my dad was working in construction. So we moved around a lot. So I spent 10 years in Trinidad from the age of 4 to 14. And then after that, I moved to Scotland. Scotland moved to England. England to Hawaii, where I live now.
That's amazing, man. You're so well traveled. Now, when it comes to like, were there any like culture shocks? Like living in
Oh
Trinidad,
yeah.
living to the UK. So talk about some of that. Like, how was it when you got to Trinidad versus when you got to like the UK?
So Trinidad I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So I remember arriving. We in the middle of the night. We my dad was already there working, and my mom we turned up to this house. There was it was dark, and there was a basement, and there were rats in the basement, and my mom was freaking out. She said, "We're not living here." And anyway, so we moved out of that place. But I had a great childhood in Trinidad. That was just beautiful. 10 years of just easy life.
Wow.
Shorts, t-shirts, no shoes, school. We lived near the beach, not near the Trinidad doesn't really have beaches. It's more like a working island. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like maybe up in the north, Toco and Mayaro. They're nice. Even then, it's not like Barbados, right? It's more like a working island. But still, it was a great childhood. I loved it. And then the big culture shock was at 14, moving anywhere at 14 is tough, right? But moving from Trinidad to Scotland was incredibly hard. First
Wow.
of all, Scotland, because I spoke with a real Trini accent. So I was like, everything, yeah, nah, man, yeah, nah, yeah, nah, yeah, nah, hush, nah, hush, nah. And they were like, when I arrived in Scotland, I couldn't understand what they were saying. They couldn't understand what I was saying. So we got teased a lot, for our accent, the way we looked. They couldn't work me out. They knew I was half. When they said, "Hey, they asked me where's Trinidad," and I got so pissed off. I said, "Africa." And they went, "Oh, right." So my nickname was, they knew I was half Scottish. They called me Zulu McTavish, and my little brother was
What
picked
does
on
that
a
mean,
lot.
Zula? What does that mean, Zula Matadish?
So McTavish is a very Scottish name, and Zulu, because they thought I was from Africa. They went, "Oh, he's like
Oh,
Zulu
gotcha.
McTavish," and I was like, whatever. But they what? At that age, 14 in Scotland, 1981, Scotland was very different. It was not, it wasn't culturally, uh, it was very white. And the only people of color were people coming in from India or Pakistan, you know? but there were hardly any black people. No black people. It was very, very white.
I'm
There were
shocked.
what?
I said I'm shocked. There were
Well,
no
it's so
black people in Scotland. I'm shocked.
very, very few. But I mean, it's changed a lot now.
Oh,
There's a lot
I
of black
haven't
people.
been. I haven't been.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of black people in Scotland coming over from Africa, right? So, but they've second generation, so they speak with Scottish accents, right? So
Wow.
yeah, that is kind of But when I was growing up, there were no black people, very few black people. So culturally, it was very aggressive as well. Like they fought differently. Like in Trinidad, we fight and shake hands afterwards. In Scotland, I'd never seen this before. They would pull your hair and kick you in the face. I remember that was the first day of school I saw a fight like that. I was like, what?
Ooh, that was UFC before UFC.
Yeah, but it was like, and it was two brothers at the bus stop, and one of them pulled the other one by the hair and started kicking him in the face. And I'm standing with my brother going, we've never seen that before. It was a whole new experience of fighting.
That's crazy. Me and my brother used to fight. We never took it that far to like knee each other in the face. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
When did your interest in acting start to like take heed?
Last year of school.
High school.
High school, sorry. Last year of high school, I did not want to go to university or college or study, open another book. And somebody came around and said, tryouts for this drama thing. We didn't have any drama in our school. And I said, oh, that sounds good. And signed up for that. At the same time, I was watching a lot of Robin Hood. I was thinking, that's a good job,
I can see you playing Robin Hood too.
maybe when I was younger. But and that's when it first started. I just thought, I just wanted to have fun. I did not want a real. And then when I did some amateur dramatics, and the people I met there were just odd, and I loved them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was just like I was like they weren't cool at all. And I thought this is great. I kind of found people that I can hang out with and be myself.
I'm about to say you found your tribe. When it came to the acting community. So what was like the first? So you booked a theater role first? Did you have to audition? How did the first like act come about?
It was a play called West by Stephen Burkhoff, and I auditioned and I didn't get it, but the guy said, you know what, you can be the stage manager. And I went, okay. And he gave me the dates, and then I went home, and then I turned up on opening night. And he said, where have you been? I said, well, this is when I'm going to stage manage. What do I do? He said, no, you were supposed to be here for the whole period. I didn't know, right? And I went, oh, we'll stay for the party anyway. So that was my first experience. And then after that, I auditioned and I got a role. And it was one of those plays where you all sit by the side of the stage. So rehearsals are great, having a great time, fun. All of a sudden, the audience come in. And I'm sitting at the side of the stage. And that was just terrifying. Awful. I hated it. Did the play, managed to get through it like a blur, you know what I mean? Like on autopilot. But at the end, it was just the rush, the feeling of, oh, I did that. I want to try it again,
So wait a minute. Did you take any like acting classes prior to?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. This was like amateur stuff. This was just like, community theater, but I'd never done anything. No.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, and so then I want to know, so that was in Scotland when you were doing those amateur plays?
Yeah, that was in Glasgow, yeah.
When did you transition from being in Scotland to coming to America? Like, what was that? Like, when did you say, okay, I need to go to America if I want to take my career to the next level, or you just wanted new scenery? Like, what was that behind all of that?
So nothing was happening. I reached a level. I went after that. I went to drama school. I got kicked out of drama school. I was doing a lot of plays, and they don't pay very much. By this point, I had 3 kids, and zero. I was £100,000 in debt. And
how old were you at this time?
I was in my mid-30s.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember my wife was running a theatre in London, and I got offered a play in Liverpool, and I went to do the play. I thought it was a good part. It was Valmont in Dangerous Liaisons, the Vicomte de Valmont. And it was a good role, great role. But the amount of money I paid someone to look after my kids, she earned more than I did. I was in a negative. And after that, I thought, I can't do theatre anymore. I need to start doing TV. And I remember doing like 1 day's work on TV, which was, I think, £1,000 for doing 1 day's speaking work, which was, in the theater, you get 500 a week. At that time, I don't know what it is now. It's probably not much different.
Right.
And then I got Jesus and the Gospel of John, and that kind of introduced me to some American people who said, "Come and," Americans are like, "Come and stay in my house. Come and drive my car." And you're like, "What? What's that?" You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
yeah.
especially LA people. My house is empty. Come and stay. Yeah, my car. There's my BMW. And I was like, "Well, okay, fine." So
Yeah,
I
I'll do
did,
it. Yeah.
and I remember going to LA and just like going, "Oh my gosh." It was sunny, and I just thought, if you work hard enough here, you could make it. Anyway, I spent like ages there not making it, and then, but I still had a good time. I love pilot season. I don't know. You remember pilot season, right?
I remember pilot season, man, and that's what I was going to ask about. Like, what were your like? How long did you have to like get through pilot season before? And anybody don't know pilot season? That's when all the networks are holding auditions for their new TV shows, and so all of us struggling actors in the beginning, we're out there doing pilot season, trying to book a role for a TV show. So what was that like for you, and how many years were you in LA until you found like you started getting some traction?
Not long. I was very fortunate, to be honest. First of all, pilot season I think is great training for anyone. Just turning up at that time, I would have like 3 auditions a day for stuff that you were so wrong for. You go, I'm not, and those were the ones that you got close
Right.
because you didn't care. The ones that you thought you were right for, you're like, yeah, but this is ridiculous. And then they go, oh yeah, but come back for the next one. And you're like, are you kidding? Okay. So, but it was great training because it made me think, oh, just throw it away. Just don't put all that pressure on that one audition. You've got 3 today, so. But when I first got there, I booked a role actually on 24, which I couldn't do because I didn't have my paperwork.
Oh,
Very quickly, and I thought, oh, that's a sign, because I'd say within like 3 weeks, I booked 9 episodes on 24, didn't have the paperwork, but my manager was like, that's a good sign. I went back to the UK. I got Taft Hartley on an indie film that my manager sponsored, I believe, and went back to the UK. And then I got the audition for Lost, and then that kind of changed my life.
and so that was basically your first year in America.
Yeah, it worked. But prior to that, I've been struggling in the UK. I couldn't even get in the room. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
they were like these 10 actors to go, you're not on that list. You can't get in the room because you haven't done enough. Whereas in the States, I felt like they'd see anyone. You know what I mean? They would just
Yeah.
literally see anyone, you know.
That's why I feel like I'm kind of at one. I'm glad you just said something. You said you was auditioning for the roles that you didn't feel right for, and those were the ones you were getting close to. Because where I'm at right now is anything that I feel like I'm not right for, I don't even audition because I'm just like, man, this is a waste of my time. But
Yeah.
now I'm like, maybe I should just say fuck it and just audition for some of those projects because who knows, I might book it, you know, or get in a room with the casting people or producers, and they might be like, you might not be right for this role, but you might be right for another role.
Yeah,
So
that happens, but you must know that happens a lot. I mean, I know that happened on Lost when people came in and they went, "You're not right for this," but you're right for this. So that people do change their thinking. I think on the strength of an audition or seeing you on tape, they go, "He's not right, but I like him."
yeah,
And I've heard about that. Taylor Sheridan or casting auditioning people going, "She's not right for this, but you know what? There's another project I have, and she's perfect for that." So
yeah.
I, I would just. What else are you doing?
Well, I ain't doing shit right now because of this.
Nobody's doing shit.
How are you doing during this strike? Like, what were you in Atlanta filming like an independent film? Were you just hanging out? Like, what are you doing during this time?
Nothing. No, this is nothing's happening. This is what have I been doing? Looking at my bank balance, go. going, oh, do I need to start Ubering? I don't want to
Oh,
Uber.
wait. You own real estate too, though, don't you?
I
Don't you?
do. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't want to sell that. I mean, this is not a good time to sell. So do you. You're not going to sell anything, right?
I'm
Not a
trying
good
not
time.
to. No, it's
Rent
not a
it.
good time. I'm
Rent it out.
renting, but
Right.
here's the issue. So even with my property in Atlanta, I was making the most money when people were there for a few months because they were filming projects.
Yeah.
And so now no one's filming projects. So now I'm having an Airbnb and Verbo. So I make enough money to like cover the mortgage, but I'm not really making a profit like I was when like a director or actress would stay there for 3 to 4.
Right.
So that's
But
the
I thought Airbnb you get more money. Don't you get more money for Airbnb? No.
hell no.
No. Okay.
Because I would charge stupid amounts of money for
You have a
my
nice
house.
place.
I
Yeah.
have a nice place, so and it's fully furnished. So
Right.
I would charge a absurd amount because the studios are paying for it, basically.
Ah, I see. I see.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I made way more in profit when it's like a studio renting it out versus Airbnb.
Right.
Yeah. But I do have a multifamily property in Florida also, and so
Right.
that's good.
Okay. What? Hang on. What are you doing up? Because you're. I mean, you're multi-talented. You do comedy shows. You write. So you always had something. Like I'd be saying, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm writing. I'm going to my room to write." And something. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm going back to. I'm gonna go to craft services." You were always doing stuff. I was just wandering around aimlessly.
Yeah, that's funny. So, I wrote Half Baked too, and we shot it last year.
Right.
I recommended you. I was trying to get you to
I was
play
gonna say, yeah. Thank you. I
with
appreciate you for that.
man,
Yeah.
and doing my stand up, and I'm about to put out a little comedy special just for YouTube. So because a lot of people
Right.
see my stand up comedy, and so that'll be the first time that people could really see like my crafted material and somewhat telling a story. And so that's what I'm doing, and just so that's what I'm doing in the meantime, trying to
You're
build
being
up.
very, very productive, way more productive than I am. What am I doing? Well, you know what? I was in Scotland recently seeing my mum. She's not very
Nice,
well. So I was hanging out there I was in Europe since May. I did a few conventions. So I've been jumping on those just to get some cash and seeing family and just been hanging out and back in Hawaii and nothing. I've not been. There is something I've written, a little short film that I'm considering shooting.
nice.
Um, but I'm not rushing around trying to. I'm a little bit older now. A little bit more like, you know,
But that's what I love about you because you always have like a attitude or aura that's like everything is cool. It's all gonna work out. Don't just it's all good. If this show get canceled, I'll get another something else to come along. I'll keep working, and that's just a great peaceful mindset to have. I don't have that, and that's why I'm fucking
that's why you hustle. But that's great that you're hustling because when I was younger, I was a hustler and I got
yeah.
stuff. But I do believe that it's about the mood. I've been listening to a lot of self-help books actually. It's
It
about the
helps.
mood. They do, and I was thinking, oh yeah, just relax. It come from a place of abundance, don't come from a place of scarcity. It's all about your mood, your thinking, positive, that and if nothing else, you'll feel better. But if you're thinking, oh my God, we're striking, got no money, and start panicking, you're not going to do anything good, and you're just going to make yourself ill.
Hey, do you meditate or exercise?
I do a lot of exercise. My version of meditating is standing at the water's edge and just listening to close my eyes and I just listen to the waves as they like a like
That's my
a
favorite thing to do.
like a symphony.
That's my
But I
favorite.
don't I don't sit and meditate like that. I've never done that. I don't do that.
Yeah, I tried. I can't. My mind is going so many different places. It's tough.
But so do you stand by this water's edge, close your eyes, and just listen to the waves as they hit?
Yeah,
That's a really because I think that's a beautiful thing of just when you're just focusing on where the waves are just. It is like an orchestra, the wind and the sand and the.
What's your sign? Your
Aries. Aries. What are
Aries.
you?
I'm a
Are we
Cancer.
are we compatible? Can we
I
have
don't.
a relationship?
I think so. If this strike keeps going, you know what I'm saying? We can meet up. I'll pay for the motel. You know what I'm saying? You bring the dessert.
Ooh la la.
So,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I want to ask because I know people want to know about Lost. What was that audition process like? Do you remember your audition process? And then how was it when you finally got on set and started doing that?
So my audition for that, as I said, I was in the UK at the time. My manager sent me this thing, and I was reading it, going, I have no idea what's going on here. And I let it sit for about a week, which is, it's quite a long time. And my manager says, "Are you doing this thing?" I was like, you know. And then in the middle of the night, I was reading it, going, I don't know what. I just impersonate my friend, And this actually helped me a lot. When I don't know what to do, I just impersonate someone. And of course, the impersonation is not going to be the same thing, but it's my version of them. I use this quite a lot. And so I impersonated my friend Kevin. This is kind of a long story, but anyway, so I phoned
Go
my friend
for it.
Robbie. I phoned my friend Robbie the next day, and I said, "Help me with this audition." And Robbie was just like not interested. He had to go to yoga, so he filmed me, and he was looking out the window, and it was a terrible audition. I didn't know my lines very well. I messed it up, and it was back in the days. Do you remember when you had to burn a CD?
Yep, sure do.
And if you touch the computer, we go, "No, Brujo, start again." Burn the
Yep.
CD, and then you have to go, and then I had to FedEx it. And I remember like being in the car, and I kept on missing the FedEx stop offs. And so I ended up I had three boys in the back of the car because I was a stay at home dad. And it was 11 o'clock at night, and I found this place. And my wife's like, "Where the fuck are you?" I said, "I'm the thing." And she was like, "You never get them. You never get them. What's no point?" And anyways, I always refer to that moment. I never get them. I never get them. That one job changed my life. You know what I mean? But I had the kids in the back of the house going, "Oh, we're hungry, Dad. Eat some more crisps. Eat some snacks." Um, but that job changed my life. So that was my audition, and I didn't have anything for like another 2 months after that because it was a recurring. It wasn't a big thing. It was only later
Gotcha.
on when I went on set that it became a regular gig. And but I remember like turning one of those moments when you turn up on set, go, "Oh, this feels right." I think it was a lot to do with it was because it was Hawaii, an island, and I'd grown up in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So I arrived. I was like, "Oh, I know this. This feels very familiar." You know.
Wow, man. Did you have any because you were there from season one, right?
No, no, no. Season two, I joined as a recurring.
Okay, so it was already a success by the time you came on board, also. Because like
Yeah, I
season
hadn't seen it though. I hadn't seen it though. It
got
wasn't
you.
released. It wasn't released in the UK until when I joined. My wife says, "Well, there's posters for the show everywhere."
Yeah, I remember. I think being in college at the time, watching that, like watching season one for sure. I remember like sitting in my dorm, like my on campus apartment, and I remember watching the show. So I mean that's just incredible. What about the 100? How did that come about? Was it an offer? Did you have to audition?
It was an offer. That's right. It was an offer, and I was very. I just left Scandal, and
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like scrambling around, going, "What is out there? What is out there?" And I remember reading that script and thinking, it's kind of like Lost. It was a lost lost light. I thought. Anyway, I met Jason Rothenberg, who was the producer, and I said, "I'm not auditioning," which is kind of interesting, actually. Here's the thing: that casting director had me wanted me to audition for something way back, and I said, "I'm not auditioning," and then I didn't get the role. So when she came this time and said, "You have to audition," I said, "I'm not auditioning." She told him, "Jason, he won't audition. Uh, Either offer it to him or don't." So that's the power sometimes of turning down, you know, just saying.
That's a fact. Well, I keep telling them offer only, and I just ain't working.
Yeah, I know. You just never know, right? Because I was a little bit hotter then, right? I just come
Yeah.
off. I just been come off Scandal, and
Do you talk about scandal? You don't talk about scandal.
fine talking about it. Actually, I've never really spoken about it publicly, so you can ask. I mean, I'm not going to get myself cancelled.
All right.
Hopefully.
What happened?
So
So you
I got nothing. I mean, you know some of the people on Scandal, right? You're friendly with some of them.
just one. I really only know Columbus Short. And he was
Okay.
in his own he was in he was in the real scandal.
Yeah.
Because you know he had some
Yeah,
stuff.
that's unfortunate. Yeah, that was unfortunate what happened. Yeah, it was a shame.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with him? Are you still friends with him?
You know, so ironically, he just hit me up recently because we did a movie years ago when I was in college called Stomp the Yard.
Oh
And
yeah.
I only had two
Good.
lines in the movie. But he wanted to have like a Stomp the Yard reunion gathering in Hollywood. And so me and some of the cast members all met up. This is literally like maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. And we met up. It was a cool event. You know, people came out, they screened the movie. And so yeah, you know, we follow each other on Instagram.
Right. Oh, you actually follow people now?
I started back following people. I started back following.
Because for ages you had zero, you didn't follow anyone.
I,
I've left. I've left Instagram. So.
That's what I'm about to say, because I went to look up your page today and you're not even on there.
Yeah, I just left. I took a break, and then I thought this break's lasting a long time, and I don't miss it. It's like, you know what I mean. It took up so much time, so and I'm even now like gonna stop. I want to stop like messaging. I find that takes up a lot of time. Like I always feel the need that I must respond when somebody reaches out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to, because it just seems like bad manners or something, right? I don't know.
I had to start training myself to not reply as soon as a message or a text message come through, depending on what I'm doing, because I realized it was impeding on my work. Meaning, if I'm trying to focus on editing or if I'm writing a screenplay and every time someone's DMing me or texting me, I'm stopping what I'm doing to reply to them. It's like, no, I have to carve out this time for my work. And when I'm done with my work, then I'll transition over to the DMs and the text messages. To get to your point, I unfollowed everybody at one point because I was following people. And then I think it was 2020, I want to say, I unfollowed everybody like January 1st. I was like, fuck everybody. And I unfollowed. And
wait, did you say JLo?
January. January 1st.
I thought you said you unfollowed JLo first. Okay.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah, fuck her too. No, no, I'm joking. And some people, like, you were just like a casualty of like, because you know, I didn't have any beef with you. Some of it was a lot of people in my peer group, like a lot of comedians and a lot of people I went to school with who I felt like wasn't supporting me. And it was like I started to feel a certain type of way. So I was like, well, damn, I'm like, y'all, like, I'm saying I'm on MacGyver, like, you know, check out MacGyver every, you know, Friday. Y'all, I'm getting literally, I'm not bullshitting, literally 3 likes on a post. And one of them is my mom. You know, like, and I'm not playing, I'm not even joking when I'm saying this. So that shit started to eat at me. So I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were friends, I thought we were cool, but y'all not like supporting me in any capacity publicly. But when I see you in person, you're coming up saying, oh, good stuff, Jay. Oh man, oh, you on a TV show? Oh, but I'm like, well, where's that energy when I need it when it comes to like sharing so the show can stay on the air?
Right. So why do you think they were doing that? Why do you think they wouldn't do it publicly? Did they think because MacGyver was not a cool show, or was it?
Man, I've actually had them. I had my own beliefs, and then eventually doing my other podcast, they kind of somewhat. Some of them was we already thought you made it, like you didn't need our help.
I see.
Know, so you already we trying to get to where you at. So no, we go share other people's shit that ain't in the same boat that you in, because in our mind, you done already sailed off into the sunset. And they really don't know that's not how it works, because you always have to keep working. You have to keep proving yourself. You have to move on to the next job. So that was part of the reason why I unfollowed everybody. And the other reason was I was trying to be hyper focused. I felt like there was things in my career that I hadn't achieved yet, that I was trying to achieve. And I'm like, instead of me being on Instagram all day, you know, how you was just saying, it's so time consuming. I'm like, let me be hyper focused on what I'm doing. And when I'm looking at other people's content, I can't be focused on the shit that I'm trying to do. So those were the two factors why I unfollowed everybody. Then a group of comedians jumped me verbally. We was all doing a show together, and they was like, "Well, why you unfollowed us? Why you unfollowed us?" So I had to tell them why. I'm like, "Y'all don't share my shit." It was a fucking, it was a big thing. We fucking kumbaya and made up, and then I started back following everybody.
Right. Okay. So how many people are you following? How many?
I follow more people now than I did before. So I follow 500 people now.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I have followed you back. I followed you back. But you're gone now. So, but yeah, so that was kind of the story behind all that. But yeah, I had unfollowed Lucas. I unfollowed everybody. You know, it was at zero.
How is Lucas? Are you in touch with him?
Man, yeah, I'll tell you some stuff offline about him. But yeah, he's doing good. He's doing real good. He literally just texted me yesterday. I haven't heard from him in a couple months, but he literally just texted me yesterday. But I know Lucas is a very private person, and he wouldn't want me to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, sure.
He's gay. No, I'm joking. He came out of the closet.
But I knew that ages ago.
No, right. So, okay, man. So then when it comes, we'll move off of Scandal, even though it was a scandal. And so when it came to MacGyver, so no, before we get to MacGyver, this is what I want to know. How do you deal with, because I like asking actors this question, how do you deal with other difficult actors or directors? Like, if you think it's usually the actors, though, that's usually the difficult ones, but I guess sometimes directors could be difficult too. How do you deal with that?
God, that's a tough one. Jeez, only in hindsight do I realize that some directors have been real dicks to me, because at the time you're just doing the job and you're going to go, I have this ability where I can almost like not things bounce off me. And only later on I go, oh, hang on. Oh, he was fucking with me. He was dissing me. Oh, he wanted to fight me, And then the moment I went, yeah, okay, that's great. And it stood me a good stead actually. But it's later on I'm kind of stewing, going, oh my god. Like I had some directors who wouldn't actually shoot me because I disagreed with them. And then I said to the producer, I'm not getting any coverage. And the producer had to say to the director, you got to shoot him because he's in the scene. Like I must have pissed the director off. That happened quite early on in my career. But by and large, I mean, me, I get on pretty well with most people. I mean, I'm not, there are difficult actors and I'm always, as I get older, the ones that I've met are difficult. I know they're going through tough stuff. It all comes from fear, right? They're all insecure. We're all insecure. Right.
That's so correct, man. It comes from fear, insecurity.
So I know that person's scared because they're scared about something. I don't know what's happening. You have that camera right in your face, and you think, I can see that they're not relaxed. And I don't know. I just like that's one of the things in our show. I thought everyone was pretty relaxed and cool, and that's why it was fun. And when everyone's having fun in a good mental, we were all in a good mental state most of the time. I would say that's why we made good decisions and we had fun doing the show. But I've been on shows where people have been, trying to get to a point where they're beating themselves up and you think, well, you're just creating a bad atmosphere for everyone, man. That's not cool. And I can't do good work when I'm thinking about your volatility, but then I watch it and I go, man, you were great in that scene, but we're all thinking about what you're going to do next. It's not helpful.
That's the thing. Usually the difficult, crazy actors are the best actors. Not usually, but
they can be. Yeah,
they can be. I've definitely been on sets where I'm like, this guy or gal is a phenomenal actor or actress, but they're batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's all some form of it's either mental illness or insecurity. Because you never know what somebody going through, personally what they're dealing with, and it comes out. It comes.
What was interesting about MacGyver is because it was fairly light, we could have fun. But I've been on shows like Lost where it's kind of heavy, you know, and if you go down and try and, feel what that you're supposed to, like the end of the world, you're trying to achieve, whatever. So you can make yourself ill. So I can see some actors are taking it so, committed to it that they're causing themselves injury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like mental injury. And it's not nice to be around, to be honest. And that's why I much rather do MacGyver. They're like, hey, we're having fun.
That'd be the worst, man. And sometimes it feels like the shows that you have the most fun on are the ones that end up getting canceled sooner than you want them to. It's almost like it's too good to be true.
How did you find out that we were canceled? What happened? What did you?
Monica called me, the showrunner.
Yeah, where were you? Were you at home? Were you thinking, oh, I've got another show happening, another season? Because that's what I was like.
When she called me, I knew it was one or the other. I knew she was either going to tell me we got renewed or she was going to tell me it got canceled. And I thought we were getting renewed. And I was in Florida. I was at my parents' house in my childhood bedroom. And I got the call. I seen Monica come up on the cell phone. And I thought we were getting renewed because CBS had just ordered new merch for the CBS store, like MacGyver merch. And so I was like, well, they're not going to fucking restock on MacGyver merch and then cancel us. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to do at least one more season just so we could get to 100. That's what I was thinking also. Right. Because we were so close.
How short were we from 100? How many episodes did it?
Like 8 or something, or 7.
Oh, wow, 7 to get to 100. Wow.
Yeah, because I think we stopped at 93, I want to say.
Okay.
So those are all the factors where I thought we was getting renewed. And so she told me, she was like, no more paycheck for you, buddy. She didn't say that, but
so did we need to get to 100 to get are we syndicated?
We are syndicated. I think we're syndicated anyway. So that's not even the model anymore. I mean, technically you can have fucking 13 episodes if someone pays for it, some syndicated.
Syndicated? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was in Hawaii and I was convinced. I was like, take it easy. Yeah, we got another season. And I got the same phone call and I was like, yeah. It's never easy, right? Never easy.
It was difficult because it's almost like you're losing a job, that's number one. And then you're losing family also, because it's like you've been with these people for so long. I was there for 5 seasons. And so I look at Lucas and Tristan, that's like, I look at them like brothers and sisters at this point. And so to get to a point, they're like, well, yeah, y'all won't be seeing each other for 12 to 13 hours every day anymore. It's like, damn, So it was a little difficult.
I'd left all my stuff in Atlanta in stores thinking I'm coming back. In fact, I just brought it home just this weekend, all my stuff from its storage. Because I thought, yeah.
We're still holding on. We got canceled 2 years ago.
You never know, right?
Fingers crossed. That's hilarious. Hey, this is what I wanted to ask you. What's your process? Do you have a process when it comes to like developing your characters, other than impersonating your friends sometimes?
That I do that if I have nothing else. Because sometimes your character is just doing a lot of exposition. You think, I don't know, you're just trying to. I look for something. I would try many, many different ways and think, like for example, Russ MacGyver. Mm-hmm. Russ. What was his name? Russ, not Russ MacGyver.
Yeah, what the fuck? All the MacGyver. Is it Tyler?
Russ Taylor. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So that was kind of an amalgamation of people I'd worked with in Glasgow at the Citizens Theatre, and in fact, one actor in particular, sort of like that, rather portioned. So that was, I steal from other people, and I think, like I might see a character and go, I'd like to play that character one day or something like that. And my impersonation of people is always going to be different from what they really are. So, and then whatever, the script will guide me. Just that, ideas pop in your head. I think, this moment I really like to. But then I'm always open. I always think, what's the other person we're going to do? I don't come with anything super set. I think, well, I've just, because I knew, like, when you're reading a script, you go, well, I can see. This is how they're going to read it. You can almost hear their voice after a while. You go, oh, well, they're going to do this. And then if he does that, then I'll do that. I have like plan B and plan C. And
Yeah.
then with you, it was like, oh, just riff, just do whatever you want to do, and I'll hopefully keep up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like if it was Levi or something, a V, I go, oh, she's probably gonna do this, or Tristan's gonna do this, or So yeah, no
Yeah.
real method. I guess just listen and
But that's the key, man. The real key is listening to the other actor, because sometimes the actor could go in with that, I'm gonna say it like this, and then you start doing the scene with the other actor, and you're like, well, it doesn't make any sense for me to do it this way if they're gonna do it that way. So it's like you have to like have a real fucking conversation
yeah.
within the scene and make it natural, and have to adjust. Who who were some of your acting inspirations, like when you were coming up? Like, so when you said you wanted to be an actor, like, were there any actors that you kind of looked towards, or any films you watched that for you to be like, oh, I'm inspired by this actor, and I want to be like?
Oh yeah. Okay, so when I was 16, it was Robin Hood, and an actor called Michael Praed in England played Robin Hood, and I remember thinking that was a really cool show. And actually, I watched it again recently, and it's kind of cheesy, but it still has something. I remember James Spader in Sex, Lies, and Videotape. He gave a really interesting performance where he would mumble and stutter, because I always felt I wasn't like a leading man. I wasn't cool. I was just like kind of like mumbly and stuttery. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, you can do that. And it's still kind of, it works. Um, so many, oh gosh, like right now, um, there's so many great actors, right?
Yeah,
Okay, well, one that I'm really enjoying his performances right now is Mads Mikkelsen.
who's that?
He was Chiffre in James Bond. He did a movie called The Hunt. He did
Oh, okay.
um,
What film? What would be the film I should watch if you say, like, check out his movie? This is the one to watch.
uh, The Hunt, maybe,
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
or he just has something. I don't know what it is. Um, yeah, I don't know. When people ask me who's your favorite, or acting, there's so many inspirations I have, you know, that I steal from. And I'm always put on the spot. Like I'm never like De Niro or Pacino, because everyone's, I mean, they're incredible, but I'm always looking for the other guys who's doing the smaller part, going, oh, do you see what he did there? Do you see, the little bits, the little moments.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, do you see yourself as a character actor?
Yeah.
Have, yeah. Okay. Did you
Yeah.
ever have ambitions to be the De Niro or the Al Pacino or Tom Cruise type character?
Well, I
Act,
would say De Niro and Pacino are character actors.
yeah.
They're leading, but they're also character. But no, not like someone. I could never be someone who was just play the same character in everything, like Vin Diesel, right? Or you know what I mean? They just play the same. It works,
For
but they
him,
just
yeah,
play the
yeah.
same thing every single movie. The actors are just that would just be really boring for me. I've seen actors who just do the same performance every time and go, oh god, get bored. But that's why they get hired, because it works. I'm always
Yeah.
looking to mess around, do something different.
Yeah, yeah. I keep telling myself that I need to, like, I want to do like an indie film. Where I can do like some drama, still do my comedy, but really kind of dig deep into a character, just so I could really show, you know, what I could do as an actor. So I'm looking.
Yeah, but I've seen you do that. I remember scenes when you when what's the name was you had to tell me she died. I told you she died. Was it what was your ex-girlfriend?
Rain. Oh yeah, Rain Edwards. Yeah. I forgot her
What was
name on the show.
was it
Uh,
Desiree? Was it Desiree?
Was it Desert? Ah, shit, I don't know. The MacGyver people are like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? They know these answers,
I
right?
remember because I kept on getting it wrong and you kept correcting me. I was like, no, it's not. And you're like, anyway,
I'm
that
gonna look it
scene.
up. I feel like looking it up right now because I want to.
Anyway, but I remember like thinking, geez, that was. I mean, you. I thought that was great. You know the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, when who died? Somebody died in my.
Yeah. I know the scene. What? Who? Huh? What's the name? I'm gonna look it up. What
I had a
show
few
was
people
it?
die on that show.
When I told you that your girlfriend
Oh, I do
died.
remember. I do remember that. Yeah. That was a good scene.
Yeah.
That was a really good scene, man. But you know what? You pushed me to become a better actor, and you know what else I learned with you was you could also do improv within dramatic scenes. So there were times when we were doing something dramatic, and you're like, "No, we should get in each other's face. Like we should." And I was like, "Oh, like improv isn't just comedy. You know what I'm saying? It's also within the dramatic space to create these other moments within the scene." So I learned that from you.
I remember that moment when it was something to do with it was too easy. I said, "No, I'm making it too easy," and I said, "No, we're going to make it harder for you because otherwise you
Yep.
get there too quickly or something." And I was like, and you didn't like it. You was like, "No, you should just stay there." I was going, "No, it's too easy then." And you were
Yep.
like, "Okay," you had to fight for it. That's right.
Yep.
I learned that when I did theater. Somebody pointed it out to me, and they said, "It's too easy. I'm going to make it hard for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it helps, right? When you have to struggle, you know. To,
It made the scene so much better. It made it more
and that,
dramatic.
yeah, and that's what a lot of actors do. I think they're being kind. Don't be kind. Play your motivation. Don't be kind and help the other actor out. Fuck that. You got to
Man,
play.
I've done a movie when I don't know if this ever happened to you. You ever do a movie or film or something? The other actors steal your shit and do it before you get to do it. I don't know if that's like I did a movie one time and I said something funny during rehearsal. And then
They
when they
stole
said
it.
action, he said the shit before. I said, "What the fuck?" I was like, I don't know.
I've never experienced that, but I know a story when Rupert Everett. I was working with Rupert Everett on a theater thing, and he said there was some Italian actor, American, who did something, and when they shouted action, he ran in and stole everything that he said, and he said the other guy just wanted to kill him. And I'm thinking, wow, that's funny, but it's really fucked up. That's not cool. But
No, it's not cool at all, man. But I've definitely experienced that. I was like, "What the fuck is this, man?" And and it's like, what you got? You can't say nothing because that person's the bigger star, and so it's like you just got to be happy to be there. Have you ever been asked to do something that you didn't feel comfortable with? Like an actor wanted me to kiss him in a movie once, and I didn't feel comfortable kissing him
right.
specifically. And so I was like, nah, I'm cool on that. Have you ever been in one of those situations where they just ask you to do some crazy shit? You're like, I don't want to do this. And I don't think this makes the film or TV show any better by doing it.
No, I'm pretty open. I remember I did this indie film, but it was a terrible indie film. It wasn't released, and there was an actor called Anthony. I forget he's Italian, and he was playing the bad guy, and I was playing like his. I was the lead, and he was anyway in the scene. He decides he's gay, and he came up and he kissed me, and I'm like, and I'm still acting. I'm going, fuck. And then I turned to the director. He goes, I like it. Keep going with it. And I thought, this is so fucking bonkers. But we kept it in. But that sort of thing. And he was just fucking. He was just fucking around me, and I was like, okay. But no, that didn't bother me. Sometimes stunt things that kind of make me feel uncomfortable. Like I'm like on a high precipice or something. Like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. Or but I've never. No, I can't think of anything I said I'm not doing that. You know, no, I don't think so.
Okay. I have one more. I have one more question. Oh, when it comes to TV shows and films, right? Are you under the belief that work is work? I just want to do another role because I love acting, or are you conscious to say, let me stay away from this show or movie because I don't think it's gonna be a good film or TV show, and I don't want it on my resume? Or are you?
No, no. I just whatever the project is,
Yeah.
whatever the people, So I've I've worked for no money just because I like there's always something. As long as there's one hook, right? It could be the director, it could be the script, it could just be that one role or just that one little thing. but I don't think of it as a career thing.
Gotcha.
And um, I wish I'd done more of the indies, which I kind of was snooty about when I was younger. I met Stephen Lang, who was in. Do you know Stephen
Wow.
Lang?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I remember I did a film with him, but not a very good film. And he said he loves working. So he was doing that film. He was doing 2 days on that thing, and then he was driving to Arizona to do 1 day and then another day. He said, "That's what I do. I'm an actor. I just go from film to film, and then I'll do the Avatar to make my big bucks." You know, and I just thought, oh, that's a really good way of looking at it. So you're just, I'm a working actor, just interested in all the different experiences and possibilities. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So it's not about. I mean, yeah, you get some people, and they have shaped their career, and that's why they're doing really well. And I have not. That's why I'm in. So yeah, so.
You're doing great. No, man. I think your way is the healthier way to go about it. I think I get in my own way because I do kind of see it as like, well, do I want this to be on my resume or not? And so that kind of like stops me from probably doing or going after certain projects because I'm thinking of, so even now, like I kind of like that on my IMDb that MacGyver's my last credit because it's like it was a network show, it was 93 episodes, and then my credit after that is going to be Half Baked 2, and at least I wrote it. And so I'm trying to be like, okay, now what's my next like show that is like my show? And so I do kind of have like that crafting a career, but it does make it more difficult. Don't make as much money right now because there were opportunities in certain shows that came my way, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I felt like I already did it, or I didn't think it was gonna be good. And that's why,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and maybe I should have. I don't know. I mean, we all have our own path, but I just love working, and
yeah,
there's nothing on my CV that I regret. I don't think, even though
yeah,
some of the movies are terrible, but I made some great connections and had great experiences and met some great people, and so at the end of the day, when I die, I go, oh well, I had fun. I'd rather do something than go, nah, I didn't do it because I thought there might be something better.
that's absolutely correct. Now, I'm telling you, you got the healthier mindset, and honestly, you got more money than me, and you're more successful.
I don't think I have more money than you.
Hey, this has been phenomenal, man. Henry N. Cusick, I'm glad we was able to do this, man.
I know. Yeah, it's great catching up, Justin.
Absolutely, absolutely. Man. Well, you don't have no socials. I was gonna say your social stuff, but you don't got no social media, so fuck it. Shout out to Ian, man. Appreciate you pulling up on the Urban Legends podcast. And
thanks, Justin. All right.
Wish you nothing but complete success, man.